And now, Internet Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 4 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella all together. One day, the king of Nottingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Nottingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Nottingham. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Nina. Isabella said, No way, Nina! He's going to marry me! Natalia said, Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me! Ella said, All 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me! Later, Cinderella is so sad about not going to the mall and marrying Prince Nottingham while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Nottingham, but I have lots of chores to be done. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, Cinderella has 9 pumpkins and 18 mice. Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to tell her the 9 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 18 mice into horses, and Cinderella's rich clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a not-a-fantastic gown, and get a load of my glass slippers. How can I ever thank you enough? Cinderella's fairy godmother said, Well, you can't. But have fun, Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Nottingham was wondering who he should marry. He's walking towards me, said Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. May I have this dance? Asked Prince Nottingham. Cinderella responds, I would be delighted. Cinderella and Prince Nottingham dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Nottingham was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Nottingham to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the home where Cinderella, Nina, Isabella, and Natalia and Ella lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Prince Nottingham then said, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Nina is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. Natalie and Ella did the same thing, but none of their feet are the right size either. Suddenly, Prince not only noticed Cinderella's sweet singing. Ah, the glass slipper fits! Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Nonopling back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers, I hope you enjoyed this story. And if you want to see some sequels to Cinderella, something like that, etc., tell your friends about it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise too on AndrewDoesEverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 7 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Sophia, Isabella, Xavier, Tina, Eliza, Eloisa, and Nina. Some of them constantly made fun of Cinderella and made her do all the chores. 16er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Sophia to Nina. One day, the king of Sexticumlingham's messenger arrived and said, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Sexticumlingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Sexticoupling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They then argue over who will marry Prince Sexticoupling. Later, Prince Cinderella is so sad doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Sexticoupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? In which Cinderella responds, I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Sexticoupling, but I have lots of chores to be done. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. She chants the magic words. Sextidentity, sextidentity, sextu, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, 16 chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet, she said. Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, Cinderella has 16 pumpkins and 32 mice. Cinderella's fairy godmother chants the magic words. Sextidentity, sextidentity, sextu, and waves her magic wand again to turn the 16 pumpkins into a handsome coach. The 32 mice into horses, and then Cinderella's ripped clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a sexticouple-tastic gown. And get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? Cinderella's fairy godmother said, Well, you can't. But have fun, Cinderella. But I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And so, Cinderella accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Sexticoupling was wondering who he should marry. Sophia and Nina say all together, He's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Prince Sexticoupling then asks, May I have this dance? And 16 responds, I would be delighted. 16-year-old and Prince Sextuckling dance happily together. But later, 16-year-old realizes it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Sextuckling was really worried that he might never see 16-year-old again. So he traveled all around Sextucklingham to find her and brought the glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the home where 16-year-old and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 16-year-old, Prince Sextuckling finds Sophia to Nina. He then said, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Sophia is first, but her feet are too big. Isabella is next, but her feet are too small. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Sextuckling notices 16-year-old's sweet singing. The glass slippers fit! 16-year-old gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Sextuckling back, and they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Knows Everything, and buy our merchandise at andrewknowseverything.com. Take care! Bye! Andrews Doers! Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents 23-Arella! It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, in a faraway land named Tumblingham, there was a young woman named 23-Arella. 23-Arella had 11 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Irina, Tasha, Hannah, Rena, and the twins Ellie and Emmy. They constantly made fun of 23-Arella and made her do all the chores. 23 wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do windows, do it all, said the stepsisters all together. One day, the king of Tumblinham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Tumblingham, his kind, wise, royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful and crown shall marry his son, Prince Tumbling. Can I come? asked 23-Arella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister. But her younger sisters disagree. They even tear 23-Arella's dress. Later, 23-Arella is so sad, distraught, and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Tumbling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 23-Arella. There now, my dear 23-Arella, she said. I'll fix everything for you. No one will know it's you. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 23-Arella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 23-Arella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, 23-Arella has 23 pumpkins and 46 mice. 23-Arella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 23 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 24 mice into strong horses, and fixes 23-Arella's now torn dress and makes it bigger and better. 23-year-old said, I've never seen such a tray vegetable-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. 23-year-old, his fairy godmother said, well, you can't. But have fun, 23-year-old, my dear, but I will warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 24-year-old accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Tray Fidget Tumblingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling responds, yes, mother. Suddenly, 24-year-old arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, said Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Irina, Tasha, Hannah, Rena, and the twins, Ellie and Amy, all together. But Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 23-year-old. Prince Fidget Tumbling then said, may I have this dance? In which the 23-year-old responds, I would be delighted. Oh boy. And so, 23-year-old and Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling dance happily together. But later, 23-year-old realizes it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling was really worried that he might never see 23-year-old again. The king of Tray Fidget Tumbling then comforts him by saying, there, no, son, I think we'll be able to find 24-year-old. And so, the king of Tray Fidget Tumbling and Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling began their journey all around the neighborhood to find 23-year-old and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the house where 23-year-old and her 11 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 23-year-old, they find Tina to Eric. Ellie Demi. Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Tray Fidget Tumbling and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Hell no. Winona said, next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! But the rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Tray Fidget Tumbling and Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling, then 24-year-old is singing, Your Majesty and Prince Tray Fidget Tumbling, is that you guys? She heard excitedly, the glass slipper fits! And now, 24-year-old, the king of Tray Fidget Tumbling, the king of Tray Fidget Tumbling lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and introduce everything. Buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com too. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrews Doers, Introduce Everything proudly presents 58-year-old. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 58erella. 58erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tara, Yanina, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. All 10 of them made fun of 58erella and made her do all the chores. 58er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said all 10 of them together. One day, the king of Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumblingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumblingham, his majesty, is going to throw a ball and whoever has with lots of food. And after dinner at 10 o'clock, whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling. Can I come? Asked 58erella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fatima. No way, Fatima! You're wrong! He's going to marry me! Said Ivana. Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me! Said Fernanda. The rest say, all 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me! And then they tear 58erella's best party dress. Later, at 8 o'clock at night, 58erella is distraught, upset, and sad, doing chores about not going to the ball. Suddenly, 58erella's fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 58erella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you, she said. And so, she waves her magic wand to do all the chores for 58erella. But she's not done yet. She says, 58erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, 58erella has 58 pumpkins and 116 mice. 58erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 58 pumpkins into a handsome coach, 116 mice into horses, and then 58erella's work clothes into a gown and crown. 58erella says, I've never seen such an Octo Quinquadrant Double-tastic gown. You get it out of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 58erella's fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 58erella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. It's 9 o'clock now, and so 58erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumblingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling was wondering who to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling respond, yes, father. At 10 o'clock, 58erella arrives at the ball for the food first. Just in time, 58erella then sees Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima and Tasha, say, he's walking towards me altogether. But Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 58erella. After dinner says, Prince Aqua, Quadrant, and Tumbling asks, may I have this dance? And so 58erella responds, I would be delighted. 58erella and Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling dance happily together. But later, 58erella checks her clock, and it's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast She lost both her glass slippers. Prince Otto, Queen Quadrigator was really worried that he might never see 58erella again. The king of Otto, Queen Quadrigator comforted by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 58erella, my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Otto, Queen Quadrigator and Prince Otto, Quadrigator traveled all around the neighborhood to find 58erella and brought the 2 glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, they knock on the door of the house where 58erella and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 58erella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima Tatasha. Prince Aqua Quinja then says, Ladies, my father, the king of Atta Queen Quadrigator and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Fatima's first, but her feet are too big. Yvonne is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Atta Queen Quadrigator and Prince Aqua Quinja known as 58erella's sweet singing. Prince Atta Queen Quadrigator and your majesty, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slippers fit! And 58erella, the king of Atta Queen Quadrigator and the Prince Otto Queen lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Internet Everything, and buy our merchandise at interneteverything.com. Take care. Bye.